Hi everyone, welcome to the 52nd episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host Ryan Zayaks, and today I'm joined by marketer Mila Iuteri.
Hi, thank you for having me today.
Of course, and I'd like to shout out episode 31 guest Liam Chen for TDing once again. So Mila, I talk about the Zicast a lot, so You've heard it through word of mouth, but now you get to be here, and I'm very excited to get to learn more about you. So how about you start things off by just telling us a bit about yourself?
Sure. So my name is Mila Iuteri. I'm a third year at Quinnipiac University in the 3+1 accelerated program. I'm studying marketing and business analytics. I'm loving everything about it, and I also work at Quinnipiac Productions as an assistant producer.
Which is where we met since we're co-workers.
Yeah.
I'd also like to ask, where are you from?
I'm from North Brantford, Connecticut, specifically Northford. So.
Yeah. I set that up because I know we're fellow Connecticuters, which
yes.
is always a rarity here on the Zicast.
I know.
Which you wouldn't think at Quinnipiac since it's so close.
Surprisingly, everyone here is either from Mass, New York, or Jersey. I barely see anyone from Connecticut, so it's really interesting.
Yes, and I know you do a lot of things, so do you mind going, telling us a bit about like all the things you're involved in?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, oh God, where do I even start? I'm in the Graduate Business Society. I'm in the 3+1 accelerator program, like I said. The honors program, like I said, I also do Quinnipiac Productions, Investment Club, Game Forum. Oh my God, I'm missing so many. I'm also in Phi Sigma Sigma. And I mean, probably as we're going out, I'll probably explain many more as I remember them.
Yeah, forgive me for smirking every time I hear the word Sigma. Brain rot has rotted my brain.
Yeah, no,
so
seriously. I think it's rotted everyone at QProd's brain. I mean, we say it all the time.
So like I hear Sigma, I'm like, what the Sigma? So forgive me. And this leads us well into our first topic and to provide some context. So at work on our first day, we had a little exercise where we each received tennis balls to represent the things we do. And I have to say, Mila, you have a lot of balls.
Thank you.
So I'd like to ask for my first topic, how do you juggle all the responsibilities you have?
It's not easy. That's like the first thing that I will say. It's not easy, and you need to, if you're going to give yourself that much of a workload, you need to be prepared for that workload. It takes a lot of scheduling, time management, planning. I mean, I used to just juggle everything and then struggle. I definitely think now, I mean, I use Google Calendar. I send notifications to myself when I have something to do. You make yourself to-do lists. I mean, if it doesn't fit in the calendar, don't do it. That's what I always say. Like, I make my calendar and I schedule everything that I need to do. And if it doesn't fit, you just don't do it. So
Interesting. Yeah. Because I'm very busy in my own right, as you probably know. And I noticed that, like, in my own experience, like, some days are better than others. Some days you handle things a bit better than others. And other days you're kind of in a pit of despair.
Yes.
So can you take us through, like, the day-to-day of, like, how you really manage everything?
Sure. I mean, for me, I'm an early riser and I'm a late night kind of girl. So I fit a lot into my day. I'll tell you about my busiest days because those are kind of, I guess, like the most filled ones. I wake up at 6:30 in the morning. I do a 7 a.m. spin class until 8 o'clock. I shower, I eat breakfast, and I spend the rest of that time around like 10 o'clock to 12 doing some homework, getting myself ready for my day. Class at 12:30, class at 2. From 3:15 to 5, that's the time where I have lunch with friends. I do some homework. I kind of prepare myself for the clubs or organizations I have to go to later. Class at 5, and then a class at 6:30. After that, I really get some work done here and there. I make time for my friends, and then I just go from there. That's my busiest day, though. I would say I usually go to bed around 12:30 on days like that, sometimes 1. On my lesser days, so like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I have one class at noon, another class in the evening, and when I'm not in class, I usually go to work, whether it be nannying or working at QProd. So
None of that surprised me. I can sense like you being, because you're very much a busybody, you being like an early riser, going a bit like I don't know how you do it, Like I've told you in the past, I very much admire all you do. And tell me about nannying too.
Yeah. First of all, most amazing family ever. So I actually met this family through a sorority sister of mine. She was graduating and she reached out in our sorority group chat and said, "Hey guys, I nanny for this really great family and they're looking for someone that could babysit their daughter after graduation." And I volunteered. I was like, great opportunity, somewhere that's local. So I volunteered myself. They were super sweet people. The daughter is absolutely amazing. We're like best friends now. And it's also really great because both of the parents are also in marketing. So it's really nice to kind of like bounce off with them and have like actual business conversations. And then we could also just talk about like their daughter as well.
So it's kind of like, so to speak, like killing two birds at once, because you get to like deal with kids while also networking with people in the field. I bet you're a great networker.
I love networking. I love it. I mean, any chance I can get, I network. I mean, I actually told myself, I think Sunday, so a couple of days ago, I told myself that I was going to actually print some resumes and leave it in my purse at all times. You never know who you're going to meet. I mean, I networked with someone, at a store one time. I networked with people at the Quinnipiac, what are they called?
Like career fairs?
Career fairs and the engagement fairs. I mean, you network everywhere and you don't even know it. I mean, like, even just you and I, like, we're coworkers and we networked, we got to know each other more, and now I'm on a podcast, you know? So any opportunity is a chance to network.
And that leads us very well into my next topic, which is your time here at Quinnipiac Productions and what that's taught you.
Yeah. I started working at Quinnipiac Productions, actually like a funny kind of start. So it was last semester. It was my sophomore year. I was in a marketing class with Christine Smith. I love her as a professor, probably one of my favorite professors. And I reached out to her one class and I said, I'm looking for a summer internship and I don't know where to start. I have no idea what to look for. And she sent me an email with all of the links to Quinnipiac Productions roles, and she highlighted the ones that she thought I would be best for. And so I applied to the assistant producer role, and funny enough, I went to her that same day. It was on a Wednesday that the class met. I applied on a Wednesday. After that, I went to her class, and I said, "Hey, Professor Smith, like, I just applied to this job." And she goes, "Great, because the guy that's going to hire you or reject your offer is actually our guest speaker in class today. So you could go pitch to him." And I was freaked out. I was like, oh my God, like I just applied to this and now I'm going to meet the man before I even find out if I have the job or not. And I networked with him after class, kind of had him get to know me a little bit more. And after that, we had an interview and I was hired. So, I mean, I've loved the experience. I've been working here since May.
It's funny. My brother just texted me saying his friends want to see my beard. So,
okay.
So there's some interesting developments going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very much that. So obviously you were able to get the job, and like, what is being on the job, or what has that taught you?
It has taught me that when you take a job, I mean, there's going to be a job description, and that's the basis of what you do, but it is so much more than just the job description, because it could say that you're going to be working in Excel, or you're going to be filming TikToks, or you're going to be taking some photos here and there. It's much more than that. I mean, you're in photo shoots all the time. You're leading projects you never thought you'd be able to do. You're editing. You're talking to people on the phone. I mean, it's so much. I love the job, and I never would have thought, like, if you asked me when I first applied to this job, I would have thought, I'm going to make some TikToks here and there. And I, over the summer, led my very first project, and I did the Student Choice Awards with Rebecca Ferguson as well. So it's the things that you never thought you'd be able to do. And it's just so awesome that I had the privilege to be chosen for it, because when your boss sees your talent and you get chosen for something like that, I mean, you go really far. So you definitely have a lot on your plate, especially with Quinnipiac Productions. So, yeah.
Yeah, you are one of our big superstars. Like, you looking at all of our content, you're a common common face.
Well, you are too. One of our videos has over 13,000 views on YouTube, which is amazing for our YouTube.
With the two of us in it doing a TikTok. And I've always thought like, wow, it's really cool that for our jobs, we make TikToks on campus to promote the school. Like I've been in the boomer suit, I dabbing on people, and bring the boom dance.
Oh my God, that has been coming back. I love the boom. I love the boom dance. I actually met him over the summer.
Yeah, I remember you telling me. Do you mind sharing that story?
Sure. So I was in New Jersey with my family for a family vacation, and my boyfriend was there, and we were just walking across the boardwalk, kind of looking at shops, things like that, and I see my boyfriend Tyler walk away, and he goes, "Are you Big AJ?" And he was like, this guy AJ, he was like, "Yes, I am." And we're about to film a food video, and it was just like so awesome because we got to watch him film a video, and then also Big Justice gave Tyler a mac and cheese bite, and they reviewed it together. So
yeah, I wish he gave him a double chunk chocolate cookie.
I know, they didn't have any on the boardwalk,
or any chicken bakes.
I know,
any of those. Yeah,
what a shame.
Yeah. So now they're on Jimmy Fallon.
I know Oh my God, in the Rizzler.
Yeah, he looked like a little Christmas ornament sitting there on the chair. Hitting the Riz face though, but they're superstars.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And see, like, I know that we're talking about like TikTok stars right now, and it's just something that like we're kind of laughing and joking about, but like that's us too. Like, we're college students. Yeah, we're representing a university, but at the same time, like, we're doing the exact same stuff as them. Yeah, we don't have the double chunk chocolate cookie trademark or the boom or anything like that, but we have the Bobcat roar, and we have like the passion and everything like that. So I guess you could say that we're also kind of bringing the boom.
Exactly. Everyone brings a boom in their own ways. And yeah, the new media landscape, it's new. Yeah. Like podcasting is very much in that too, where you see the influence of it only gaining more and more media. And we talk about TikToks, like, what would you say the favorite part of your job is?
Watching everything that I made come to life. Because it's one thing to have the idea, it's another thing to record it, it's another thing to edit, but seeing how far it goes after it gets posted is my personal favorite part, because like you're so excited for the idea and you're just like, it's so antsy for it to get scheduled, and then when it gets posted, seeing how great it does, and then having people that you don't even know come up to you and say, "You're that girl from the TikTok," or "You just did a video with my friend," or "Oh my God, I can't believe that you were the one that filmed this video." You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you get that like micro celebrity streak or quad cred.
Yeah.
Here at QU when you're on those videos, and I very much attest to that like, especially in the professional setting, pitching, especially since part of our job is pitching ideas, to pitch an idea, to film the video, and then to see it up there, it's very, very rewarding. And I'm sure something else that's very rewarding for you is the work you do with your sorority. If you don't mind sharing a bit more about that.
Sure. So I've been in Phi Sigma Sigma since I was a freshman. I did the formal recruitment. And I mean, I have some of my best friends because of that sorority. I'm a big, I'm a G-big, I'm a little. So all of that stuff is just like so amazing because you have your sisters, but then you also have your family. And I'm also the Circle of Sisterhood delegate. So for my sorority, I educate women, or like our sisters, about countries that have women in disparity for educational bases or anything else of the sort. So it's really nice to kind of have that e-council role as well.
Interesting. And take me your experience, like what led you to joining the sorority?
I've always had like a peppy attitude. Like I've always had like that go girl kind of like mentality. So I definitely, like, my whole family knew I would be like a peppy sorority girl that would just like want to make so many friends because I'm just very social in general. But at the same time, I mean, I loved like the philanthropy and I love the sisterhood. I mean, I just really wanted a big group of friends that I could call my home away from home, even though I don't live that far.
interesting because I had, of course, our coworker Sarah on here. We talked about this too. I joked like the family thing was like Russian dolls, the bigs and the littles.
Yes.
The kind of the way that forms. Like, what is that relationship like?
Yeah. So I'll give you like the rundown from when I first came to the sorority. So I went through the recruitment process, and you meet all these different girls in the sorority, and I met this girl named Isabella. And we just hit it off. Like, we had a really great connection, and we talked on day 2 of recruitment. There's 3 days. And then I came back to her on day 3 for like the final conversation, and that's usually when they decide if you're in or out. And then I got like my bid, which is like my acceptance into the sorority, and then we run home. So we run to wherever we held the conversations, and we have like a big like celebration. So I ran home to her, and then she ended up becoming my big. So she's the person that is like my guidance. She's the person that's my care system, the person I could rely on. And then when I was able to become a big, I had this instant connection with this girl. Her name's Natalia, and she's my little now. We're best of friends. We're actually having lunch tomorrow. And now she's a big. So I could definitely say that I'm still super close with all of these girls, and it's just really nice to have someone to rely on, but then also have others be able to rely on me. And it's just really cute because I'll literally walk by in the hallways, and if my little sees me, she'll be like, "Hi, Mom." So
what was once little becomes big.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the circle of life. And tell me more about like the community.
We do all sorts of things. We do philanthropy events. We do sisterhood events, and I'll explain all of that in a second. But we do philanthropy, sisterhood, semi-formal, formal, initiations, things like that. So first of all, with the philanthropies, each sorority kind of picks an organization that they want to support or fund or things like that. And it's usually nationally that they all each sorority will have like a specific one. So we have 2. We have Camp Sunshine and the Phi Sigma Sigma Foundation for School and College Readiness. So we hold events like volleyball games, Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader trivia, wiffle ball tournaments, things like that. That's just what our sorority does. And then we also have the dances where we could bring our boyfriends, our friends, roommates, things like that. Super, super fun. And it's just like a really good opportunity to just be with the people that you love, you know?
Perfect. And we've piled into a lot of the things you do, but I'd like to get to learn more about you. So if you don't mind telling us some things that people might not know about you.
Sure. Ooh.
Like fun facts.
Yeah, fun facts. I spent 7 years of school learning Spanish. I guess that's like a fun fact. I can't speak Spanish as much anymore. I could understand it, but I can't really speak it as well anymore. I love to sing. I love to perform, which is kind of similar to the idea of being able to pitch and talk, but I mean, I've done performing arts pretty much all of my life since I was 10. I've played over 7 sports, so I'm just like a really active go girl, which is obvious, but you don't really know the small details, you know?
Tell me about the sports you played.
Yeah. I've done dance, gymnastics, cheerleading, even though some people don't consider those sports. I consider them sports. Tumbling, soccer, softball, basketball. I was on the Frisbee team for 2 weeks, and then COVID happened. I wasn't really good, so it's probably a good thing that that season came to a close. But yeah, I enjoyed it all. My top ones were dance, cheer, and gymnastics, though.
Why would you say you preferred those over the others?
I feel like I was able to feel most like myself, or like myself for that. I love performing. I love being on a stage. I love competing. And with dance, you were up on a stage for recitals, for gymnastics. I mean, I did gymnastics competitions for years. And then even with cheerleading, I loved being able to like be in front of the football game and cheer on like the teams and things like that. And we also did compete for a couple of years as well. So.
Yeah, you do have that like all-American vibe, which really bodes well into like having a cheerleading background. And I've had a tumbler on here before, and we got into like the mentality of that all. Do you think that's translated well into your professional life?
Yes. I mean, with everything, everything you do impacts your future. I mean, if I didn't do dance or cheerleading or anything like that, I wouldn't have good posture when I was pitching. If I didn't do musical theater, I would have stage fright. I probably would have denied the Zicast right now. I would have been too nervous. And one thing that I say also for like business is if you are a person that's going to have a profession that involves speaking or pitching or anything like that, take a theater class. I know it sounds funny. I know it sounds weird, but to be able to get kind of loose and also feel like you can talk without stuttering or shaking or anything like that, that's why I think being able to be in the performing arts realm helps you with business.
I very much agree with that because I've been in acting classes. I had one of my acting teachers on here, and I very much agree that doing that helps you in other forms. Like, how else would you say performing arts helped you, and playing sports as well? Like, how you were able to bring that boom into your professional career?
Coordination. Coordination, because you have to be quick on your feet. If something goes wrong, you have to be able to come up with a quick solution. And when I say coordination, I don't mean with like how you step, because I'm still a very clumsy person. I'm talking about being able to make a decision. And on the stage, if something goes wrong, you have to improv, you have to make it work. Because if no one else knows what's going on and you're the only one that knows there's an issue, that's great. But if everyone knows there's an issue, they're not going to be sold on what you've got. So definitely being able to be quick on your feet and knowing what you're doing is really nice with the theater comparison to business.
Yeah, because pitching is everything. Like at work, I was working on a presentation, and like how you sell something is so important. And of course, you're a marketer, so that very much goes into what you want to do. And kind of moving onwards, I'd like to ask you, what's one thing you love and one thing you strongly dislike?
Okay. Something I love, and it's not going to be like your generic answer. I love Nutella. I love Nutella. But if I were to give you a more serious answer, I would say my family. I love my family. My family's everything to me. They're always there for me. They've always been my friends, my supporters, my cheerleaders, the shoulders I could cry on. And even when I say family, like it's my blood family, and it's also the friends that I consider my family too. And I'm really happy and grateful that I've been so lucky in life to have such a large family, you know?
I don't have friends. I have family. But yeah, so elaborate on that further. Like any specific moments where your family really, really impacted you.
Yeah.
Some Mila lore.
Yeah, some Mila lore. Absolutely. So my mom is my rock. I mean, she's always there for everything. And I mean, even my dad too. They've both been my supporters, my people. And I can easily say I've never had a cheerleading competition or a recital or a performance or a competition or anything where they haven't attended. They've always been there, and I've never had to question, will my parents be there for me? And that's something that I am super grateful for.
That's very powerful, because one thing I really believe is that the best ability is availability. And reliability, there's nothing like being reliable.
Yeah.
And to have that trust in people and to know they're there.
Yeah.
Our laptops are syncing up when they're turning off, because that's something I always do on here. I always have to tap it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's very powerful lessons to instill onto you. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have an older sister, and she is my absolute best friend. And it's not every day that you find a person that says that their sibling is their best friend. My sister, Brianna, is the one person that I can always say will be my best friend, my maid of honor, the aunt to my children, you know.
Your OG big.
Yes, my OG big, absolutely.
Do you have any memories with her to share as well?
As a kid, I mean, when we're only 14 months apart. She's 14 months older than me. And I mean, when we were little, like we would always like roughhouse, and like you know how siblings are, like they always fight and bicker, and then like one day we realized, hey, like we're not half bad, you know. And we've just always been so close. We go, even when we have like a free moment, a free weekend, it's always, hey, I've got nothing going on, you want to do something with me?
That really is how it is. And I have a lot of nice people on here because I'm blessed to have a lot of nice people. So it's hard for them to find something they dislike. And I sense that in you, but I think that you'll be able to give us an answer.
Oh, I've got some things I dislike.
Okay.
I definitely, I hate dishonesty. I mean, don't beat around the bush. Don't be a person that tells a small fib. Just tell me the truth as is. I don't like liars. What are some other things I dislike? I hate when there's not a plan. See, like, because I have such a busy schedule, I need to have a plan, because if I can't put you in my calendar, then I'm going to drive myself crazy. I need to have a plan, and I need to know what's going on.
I might not have a brain, but I have a plan. That's a great quote. And I very much like what you said about dishonesty, because that's something that I try to preach in my own life, is to never really lie to people, because I don't know, it's a lot of it's establishing routines in your life, and if you establish positive routines, then you act positive and you become the person you want to be. Like, anything else you'd say you dislike in the same vein as dishonesty?
I don't like when I'm the only one putting in the effort for anything. School projects. I mean, I just did a pitch competition about delegation yesterday, and I talked about how I used to always just do everything for a project because I found I did it best, but that doesn't mean that I like that. I mean, I don't like when I'm always the only one that's doing work, or the only one putting in effort, or the only one that's trying, you know? I definitely think that, especially I'm a college student, in group projects now, I feel as though there are still some people nowadays that just send off the assignment to other people and say, hey, get this done. And that's not me, you know?
Yeah, you are very much a go-getter. And this reminds me of something one of my good friends, Anthony, said on here. He said that, like, he used, this sounds very much like it fits into this in context. It's that, like, relationships are 50-50.
Yes.
And that in the same context, like, someone has to put in their 50%.
Oh, yeah.
And I very much agree with what you're saying. And anything else in the same vein, because it provides some interesting content.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with the 50-50. I definitely think, like, in a friendship, in a relationship, in a business exchange, if you can't meet me halfway, then we're not meeting at all. So I definitely think in any context at all, it's really important to do your part. Because if you don't do your part, you could mess up the next person. I'll give you a prime example. I mean, I used to work at a company where we worked in a system. So if I didn't get my job done, then the next person can't even start theirs. So being able to get done my part so that I could help the rest of the team, it's like a domino effect. So, and I've always hated when the other person before me doesn't do their part, because I hate being the person to reach out and say, like, hey, can you please do your part, because when's it my turn?
Period.
And
that very much, I was thinking, like, there's the chain of command, and I like that you use the metaphor of, like, a domino effect. And I'm sure you've had some, like, killer internships. Have you had any, like, really interesting jobs you've worked at so far?
Yeah. All of my jobs have started off as professional. Like, you know, I've never really had, like, the for fun jobs where it was you worked at a restaurant, or you worked at, like, a trampoline park or something like that. All of my jobs have always started off in the professional setting. I've had an internship. I started when I was 16, and I worked there as a servicing intern, where I worked with loans and different like accounts and things like that. And then I got to college. I gave myself a little break, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get back into work. I started working at Atiana's boutique, and I still work there now. But I started as a marketing intern, and I solely did marketing for them. And then I kind of like the associate style. So that's, like, what I would say is my for fun job. I do it because it's something that I enjoy. So now I'm a sales associate there. And then in the past, I was a marketing paralegal for a law firm. I did that for a good while. And now I work at Quinnipiac Productions. So my 3 jobs now are sales associate at Atiana's boutique, assistant producer at Quinnipiac Productions, and babysitter/nanny.
I could see you being a lawyer.
I thought about it. I did think about it, but that's 3 more years of law school. That's a long time. And also, one thing that every person I talked to about this, every single person said, you can't be a lawyer. You cannot be a lawyer because you don't lie. And that was very interesting to me because it's funny to see different people's perspectives. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you need to like lie or go around the bush to kind of get the result that you want, especially in law. I'm as honest as it gets.
Yeah, because I've talked to a former law student on here, and we sort of echoed a sentiment that was like, the truth is what you make it.
Yes.
If you can argue it well enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, in that same sense, making the truth doesn't mean it is the truth.
Yeah.
But I could see you like, you know, locking in and being a really good lawyer. Like, is that something you really considered, like coming into college, or?
It started more when I took a business law class in the fall semester of my sophomore year. I mean, I loved the class, and that's also when I was working at the law firm. So, I mean, I was getting business law courses, and I was also in a law firm doing cold calling and gathering customer information. So I thought about it, but in the end, I mean, I'm definitely happy with the direction I'm going. So I don't think I want to change that. I'm not very good with change. So I love marketing, and I'm going to keep it at that. I'm going to have my security blanket on with marketing.
So you like scheduling things and you don't like change.
Correct.
I feel like there's a correlation there.
Yeah, I guess you could say so. I mean, I like having my schedule as is, and I mean, when I have something set in stone, it's really hard for me to just change it. So prime example, if my friends are telling me, oh, we're going out to dinner and we're going to leave at 7:30, then I'm mentally prepared. I'm going to leave at 7:30. You can't tell me, oh, we're leaving 15 minutes earlier. And you also can't tell me, oh, well, sometimes it's easier if I'm rushing. Sometimes it's easier for them to tell me like, oh, let's push it to 8. But still, like when I have that set plan, I have that mentality. I need to be ready for this time. And that also kind of correlates with homework too. And it's funny because I was actually just talking to my friend about this right before I came on to here today. And I was telling her I have a homework assignment that's due tomorrow night. And I'm going to make myself think that it's due tonight so that I lock in and I don't have to change my mind. I'm going to make myself get it done. If I give myself the mentality that this is when it needs to be, that's when it's going to be.
Yeah, so you like things lined up, and especially with your schedule, that makes sense that like any wrinkles in the system would bother you. And speaking of trying to be on the right track, I'd like to ask you about some of your hopes and dreams professionally or in general.
That's a good one. I mean, marketing for sure. Marketing, absolutely. I took my business analytics minor kind of just to help me to have that one step up, because there's marketing advertising, there's marketing analytics, there's all sorts of things. And I want to be able to be well-rounded because even if I find a profession that I think I want to be able to say, I could do this as well if you need me to. I'm available. Instead of hiring someone else, pick me, because I could do the creative, I could do the analytical, I could do the translation, I could do anything that you need me to. So that's why I like being more well-rounded with it. Overall, I definitely think I love the creative side, but I'd be open to more if an opportunity came my way.
Interesting, because Swiss Army knives do cut the sharpest. Yeah, that's one of my famous Zicast quotes that I say on here all the time.
Perfect.
So it's like, yeah, it very much bodes true. And it's interesting you talk about creative side as well. Like, what do you say you flourish more in, like creative roles or more get me the work, I'll get it done kind of roles?
I like being the director. I don't like being the boss. Well, when I say that, I mean, I feel as though if I were to have my own business, like I could be a CEO, but at the same time, I like having guidance and I also like giving guidance. I like being the higher up middleman that could help others, but also if I need help for something, I've got that too. So I definitely like the side where I can come up with the idea and make it come to life. And that's why I say creative, because if I've got an idea in my head and I think that it would be a good idea, I'd want to be able to present it. And if they say, let's make it happen, then we're making it happen.
So the coach of the team, not the owner of the franchise.
Exactly.
That's the vibe I was getting. And now kind of more than personal goals. Like, do you have any personal goals that you'd like to manifest here?
Yeah. I'm a girl that wants to get her head start as fast as she can. I mean, I'm in the 3+1 program. I already finished my major. I added my minor because if I didn't, I would have already been a graduate. Only 2 years into college. I would have been a graduate at 19 years old. And so I added the minor, yes, to be more well-rounded, but at the same time to fill the gap, because though I want to be go, I also need to slow down a little bit. So I want to graduate undergrad in May and then start my grad school. After that, I want to start my life. I want to start it, get it going, and then hopefully in the next few years, I want to have a house and a family and everything like that.
Yeah, and I do not doubt that when you're looking back on a few years from down from Mila Tower and you're watching this back, that you'll succeed in all the things you do. And I'd also like to ask you one of my favorite questions on here. What are some of your favorite movies?
Princess Bride. Princess Bride is such a classic. I mean, such a beautifully done movie. And it's so funny. My dad loves the movie, and he showed my sister and I when we were kids. And it's always been the movie that if anyone talks about it, I know it. And like I could probably like quote some lines, and like as the movie's going, I could literally just repeat it and say like, have fun storming the castle, or my name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, like things like that. I love that movie. And it shows the concepts of true love. It shows the concepts of fighting for what you're passionate for. It shows the concepts of fairy tale and miracle and things like that as well.
That very much fits you. That's a very much a vibe fit. Very spirited kind of movie, but also very like quirky in a lot of ways.
Yes.
You do have a nice sense of humor.
Thank you.
I would say. So I very much sense it like on that very like fairy tale-ish vibe, but also being like just very fun.
Oh yeah.
That very much tracks for you. Do you have any other favorites you'd like to share?
Ooh. Any Disney movie. I love Disney movies. I mean, just in general, I'll watch anything but scary movies. Don't ever ask me to watch a scary movie. But, I mean, I love the idea of just film. I love the concepts. I love watching. I love having the suspense. I mean, like, even now, I'm 20 years old, and I'll watch a Disney movie, and I'll be like, oh, my God, like, what's going to happen? And, like, I'm old enough to know that, like, the hero wins in the end. But still, like, I get that, like, excitement still. I'm still, like, a kid at heart.
Yeah, and our job very much puts you in the film-ish world, so you very much see like how it works. And overall, Mila, I just want to thank you for coming on here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Is there anything you'd like to leave the audience with before we wrap things up?
If you have a dream, do it, and do not stop with a thought. If you've got a thought, make it a plan, and if you've got a plan, make it happen.
That's the plan. And overall, Mila, it's been really amazing getting to know you. You're so much fun to work with. You're so buttoned up and so ambitious, like you said, go-getting. And it's always fun to be in the presence of people like that, to work with you, especially as someone who's new to the job. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here and sharing all these really interesting things.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I'll see you at work tomorrow.
Yep, I'll see you in the office.
And as always, this is Ryan Zicast with the Zicast, where everyone has a story. Signing off. Thank you so much for watching.